Welcome back. Nikki Does here, talking today about the LumenPnP from De-Opulo and specifically how to convert it so it runs on OpenPnP, the awesome open source pick and place software, and more specifically talking about how to configure it natively to run in OpenPnP the way OpenPnP intends, which is substantially different from the way De-Opulo intends for you to run it. So before I get started, some level of apology. This looks like a early 2000s video capture here because OpenPnP is running on this machine at the same time, and it actually is quite an old machine with an integrated webcam that I'm recording from, so I can show you the screen captures directly from it. So maybe just pretend that we're working on a very, that you're just throwback to the early 2000s, and this is the best video you get. So again, huge apologies for the video quality. It is the best I can get out of this situation without spending a lot of time, but I thought you'd be more interested in how to configure the software. So let's jump straight over there. Now, I've already deleted the machine.xml file that I use. And I should say that I store my machine.xml and all the associated settings, but really the machine.xml in GitHub, in Git on my local machine in GitHub. So if you don't know how to do that, and I will tell you it is certainly a steep learning curve for those who are not familiar with GitHub, but if you don't know how to do that, you should really consider putting some time into that because it makes backing up, going backward, if you've messed something up in your machine.xml, it makes it so much easier. And there's even some crafty ways to run two copies of OpenPnP at the same time. One so you can reference what you did in the earlier copy or some master copy, and one that you're trying to modify as you go. So you see here we've got the welcome screen, and it does tell you that this is OpenPnP 2.0, which is what we're using. And we're using the latest build out there. This is a build from January 30th of 2024. And I'm recording this on February 23rd of 2024, so about a month after it was released. The test build is, according to the OpenPnP Google group mailing list, that is the way to go for pretty much everybody. I'm not sure why they don't just say everybody should try this, but there's a lot of documentation to do. Huge fan of OpenPnP, so don't take that as a dig. Let's get into it. Let's see also if the screen capture works, which it doesn't seem to be doing. So pardon me, I'm going to pause this while I try to fix that. Just like that, we're back into OpenPnP. This isn't going to be a deep intro of OpenPnP, but this is the simulation machine that it starts out with. So the place where we want to stay is issues and solutions, and I know it's hard to stay there. So of course we'll have to jump back and forth a bit. We're going to be spending time in machine setup and issues and solutions primarily, possibly exclusively. But issues and solutions is a really amazing thing that the OpenPnP dev team put together to guide you through setting up your machine. And I know a lot of these are terrible in our lives, wizards and so forth, but this one's pretty good. It won't give you every single thing, but I guess that's what AI is for. So let's take it step by step. The first thing to tell you is that if you have a LumenPnP, you'll already know that we have a pair of nozzles that are driven by one motor, and they're driven in this manner here in the middle. Now I know it's a belt and this shows a gear, but hey, have some imagination. This is okay. So we're going to choose the nozzle pair up here. Well, maybe I should just give you a quick issues and solutions. Back up a little bit. You have to press find issues and solutions each time you solve this. There is an I button down here, hidden behind my face. So let's move my face a little bit. See if, oh, shnikes, I didn't have this thing set up correctly. This is what you get for a cheap production. All right, and we won't even be able to center that. Oh, look at that, that's a lot better. So fortunately I haven't clicked very much yet. We're going to start over a little bit in this verbal discussion. Find issues and solutions is up here. And down here is the I button in the bottom right. So you can see this, and if I click this, it's going to open a browser window that's going to be off this capture window. So you should click that if pretty much every time you get to another issue and solution and just take a quick read. A lot of them will take you to an anchor point on a particular page, so if you've already read the page, you're going to already know that particular text, but hey, it's definitely worth it. The other thing is, and Issues and Solutions wiki page, the GitHub wiki page for OpenPnP, will tell you what it means to press find issues and solutions again, what it means to dismiss, what it means to reopen, and what it means to accept, and those are important things to understand. If you don't know those, you've got to read up. You can ask in the comments, but that's beyond the scope of this video, or it'll be 500 hours long. So let's start out. We've chosen the nozzle pair, as I said earlier. The LumenPnP, the Opulo LumenPnP is a pair of nozzles, left and right. Well, at least it is patent 3.0, LumenPnP version 3.0. Left and right, driven by a gear or a belt, doesn't matter. Interestingly, they chose a homing position which is different than OpenPnP strongly suggests, and more to the point, they chose that 0, Z, and negative Z would be below anything that you're working on, below the board level. So everything board level and above is all positive Z, but OpenPnP is very particular that you should be working negative negative Z axis. And that's one of the reasons, one of the many reasons why I've decided to De-Opulo my LumenPnP and go with what the OpenPnP authors suggest. So let's say we pick this nozzle pair with the shared Z axis negated, and let's accept that. And we'll see up here, it's going to tell me that that's going to mess up everything about my machine config, but I'm starting with a blank config, the stock config anyway, so yes. Now notice up here that state turned to solved, and we're ready to move on to the next milestone, which is really just move on to the next milestone. So we're going to proceed to connect. The first thing it says is we need to pick a camera for top camera and bottom camera. Now I'm going to do them both at once while we're in there. So I'm going to jump over to machine setup, and I'm going to expand everything because I have plenty of screen real estate to do this. That just expands all of these expanders in the reference machine. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to notice that I have a up camera. The bottom up camera is here. I'm going to go all the way over to, first thing I'm going to do is go all the way over to device settings. And no, the first thing I'm going to do is add a new camera. I'm going to add an OpenPnP capture camera. I'm assuming you have the LumenPnP hardware, so that's the one we're going to use. I'm going to rename this bottom camera to simulated bottom, and I could remove it, and you've got to press apply over here before you change tabs, and you won't get warning if you don't. So now I'm going to go back to my new OpenPnP camera. I'm going to rename this one now to bottom. It's an up-looking camera. Why am I? Okay, so I'm going to choose an up-looking camera right here. And there are some things it's going to ask me to do later in Issues and Solutions right here. I know about that, and normally I would check this, but I'm not going to do it just for the purposes of this demo. So we'll take each one step by step. Now the top camera, or the down-looking camera, is part of the head. So here's the reference head H1, and if we expand that, we'll see in here cameras, and here's the image camera top. Now this is the simulated top, so I'm going to put simulated top. I'm going to apply that, and then I'm going to add a new camera, which is not simulated. It's the OpenPnP capture camera, and I'm going to rename that one to just top. So that will be top, and that one is truly a down-looking camera. I have to go pick these in device settings. Oh, you know what? I didn't apply yet, so I'm going to apply. I need to pick these in device settings, and if you have the LumenPnP, they've programmed the camera with some information to say it's top or bottom. Leave this as MJPEG. Don't change it to the other that LumenPnP tells you to, the YUY2. Leave it as MPEG. You're welcome to press test and see what kind of capture rate you're going to get. I'm going to get a horrible rate because I'm recording this video at the same time. I'm not sure if test did apply, but apply is now grayed out, so I hope that that's done. Yeah, so now we've got the top and bottom cameras, and you can see that we've got these other cameras showing up here. We could delete them again, but I'm going to go in here and say show in multi-camera view no. So I'm going to apply that, and I'm going to go to the other top camera, the bottom camera, and I'm going to say back in general config, show in multi-camera view no, and now we'll only have the two OpenPnP cameras. But notice this one is still called OpenPnP Capture Camera. I did not do such a hot job on that one of renaming it to bottom. So let's apply that, and now this label over here, I presume, will update. There it is. Okay, and why it's not connected yet means I didn't also save it after I did this, so that I've got to say bottom, and apply. This should turn on, and it did. Device settings, we're going to mess with exposure and stuff later, so I know you're tempted to jump in there and start sliding sliders and make that picture look good. Just don't do it. Back to issues and solutions. It says the simulated camera can be replaced. Let's say accept. And once you do something, you should go back here and find issues and solutions again. So now it removed that, which I'm going to leave these on. I'm going to say include dismissed and solved. Hey, mostly because I like to see my progress in a thing, and I get some green stuff over here. That's pretty cool. So now it says the up camera should be replaced. I know I did that already, so I'll say that. The simulation null driver can replace the G-code driver to drive a real controller. So let's go over and do that. We're going to go here where it says null driver, or drivers, doesn't matter. We're going to say plus, and we're going to add a G-code driver and accept that. That'll add another G-code driver in here, and I'm going to name it LumenPnP Mobo V4 because I have a V4 motherboard. Before I move off this tab, I'm going to select the port, which is the only port on this old computer, COM4. And again, outside of OpenPnP's recommendations, I'm going to include flow control for ready to send and clear to send, and I'm going to apply that. Now if I come back to issues and solutions and I say yes, I did in fact set up a new controller. If you're doing this, you can press the I for every one of these and get read up. I've already done that. So now I can finish this milestone, the connect milestone. So I say accept, and it says you haven't connected the driver, the firmware wasn't detected, and so forth. So what I didn't do here is I didn't say find issues and solutions again. The reason I didn't do that, the reason I didn't press it, is to show you guys how you're not supposed to do it. So to connect the driver to your controller, I did that. Let's try that again. Why is it not letting me? I think I saw this before too, that, oh, choose the right communication type and address setting. So it should be there, and it's there. Now I think what it wants me to do is to turn it on, and I do that right here. And I suspect once I do that, so connect it and connect it this way. And now I know this is red now, but that means when you press it, it'll turn the power off. It is currently on. So I'm not going to home it yet, but let's see what happens if I go over to issues and solutions and I find them again. Let's see if I'm able to close that one. If I can't, I'm just going to say dismiss because I know that it was fine. It says firmware is not detected, so let's try this one more time over here. Let's say home, which is a little odd because I haven't set the proper homing codes in here yet, so I'm not real thrilled with homing it yet. The LumenPnP has some unusual homing stuff going on. So let's reopen that one more time and see if we can find issues and solutions, connect the driver. Yeah, I still don't get an accept. We're going to just kind of ignore that. Back to this. If I go to driver settings and I say detect firmware, so I'm in the G-code driver, I detect the firmware, I hit apply. Let's see what happens there. Back to here, find issues and solutions. Firmware was not detected. Let's see now if we can reopen this. And can we accept it? This has got to be exciting. It's a good video. All right, so firmware was not detected. Let's try this. Detect the firmware automatically. It says solved. So should we try this one more time? I'm obsessive. Can we find this? Can we connect the driver? Nope. All right. So complete the milestone, connect. I'm jumping around a lot, but hey. All right, so find issues and solutions. It says access letter is missing, assign the letter to continue. Let's go over here and take a look. We're going to jump a little bit out of the issues and solutions to the chagrin of the authors, and we're just going to do some rapid fix-ups that we know we have to do for the Lumen. That's not really going to be captured with issues and solutions. I, like a lot of people, like my access names capitalized, so I'm going to just go through each one of these and do that, and you get to watch. Then we need to put an access letter in. This is the letter that will be sent through G-code for each of these. So this is the one that gets inserted into the G-code commands. We've got some home coordinates and stuff, and I've got a, let's see here, I've got a notepad doc here, which is what I use to give me a lot of this. If I can move that out of the way. Okay, so here's some x-axis details, soft high limit, and I'm going to go back to show you the OpenPnP stuff, but I'm watching that dock in the side, so you're going to be seeing that as I type it in. The home coordinate we're going to leave at 0, but we're going to change some of the, like the soft high limit. That's the thing that tells it how far it can go before it would run out of travel normally. We'll say enable. The feed rate is pretty obvious, and we're going to set that to 200 like Opulo does. I have some disagreement with some of this, but I'll mostly keep that to myself for now. Probably won't, but I'll try to. Then let's apply that. I just did that for, I just put an X. This is Y. Y is supposed to be 487, not 433. So we'll just copy that, and we'll put in 487. And we'll apply that. And then X should be 433, so we'll put that in there and we'll enable it. We'll set that to 200, we'll set that to 1000, and we'll apply that. And I do sometimes like to go back and forth and just make sure everything is still cool. So 487 for Y, 200 and 1000. 433 for X, 200 and 1000. We've got an access name and an access letter. We have an access name and an access letter. We are all good for those. So let's go back to issues and solutions. It says the letter is missing for some axes. Let's see if we can accept X. And then let's accept, it would have done this for us, accept Y. And this is going to be Z, but it's actually, we want Z1. So we're going to dismiss this one because we have a Z1 and a Z2. This one is going to be nothing. So we're going to, this is C, which is one of the rotate axes. So let's see if we can go, let's reopen this. So rather than dismiss stuff, I'm trying not to do that. Let's reopen this. And let's go over here to the real axis, the reference controller axis. This is the real physical axis. And let's put in Z. We need a Z there. So that would have worked for us. We have a bunch of other stuff to do in here on the notepad doc. This is a bunch of the fix-ups. So this is for reference controller axis Z1. This is your primary axis name, and we're going to call that Z1. That's what I call it. The first thing is the home coordinate is going to be 0. The soft limit, these are important, the soft limit is going to be minus 31.5. The soft limit low, and we're going to enable it. The soft zone low is going to stay 0, but we're leaving these enabled. And the high limit is going to be 31.5, not negative. The acceleration here is going to be 200. And the feed rate 200, the acceleration is going to be 1000. And for some reason in this one, let's see. Nope, that's true. So we've got to enable this. We've got 4 enableds. We've got minus 31.5, 0, 0, plus 31.5, 200 for feed, 1000 for acceleration. Double checking, we've got a Z1 axis. We're going to have a Z2 axis also. We've got letter Z that's going to be sent back to the driver, and we're homing to 0. Let's apply that. Now let's go back to issues and solutions. That's not going to do anything for our rotation axes here. So that's not going to solve that, but we should be able to find issues and solutions. We didn't have to accept because those are already solved. So it's still telling us we have 2 axes with missing letters on them. So let's go do that. And this says C1, but I prefer N1 because it's really the nozzle 1 rotation. I suppose you could put N1 rotate or something. I think I'm just going to leave it as N1. And this, I forgot to look. I think this is A, I hope. I think this is A in, I forgot to write that one down. So I'm going to make a note in my doc right now. Axes. Let's pause this for so I'll just say N1, N2, rotate axes. With Nikki Does, you get no editing. It is so real. All right, so these should be minus 180 to 180 because the tube that's connecting the vacuum to the nozzle rotation does not swivel very well. I'm going to leave these feed rate and accels the way they are. I don't think they're correct, but I'm just going to say apply. And then here I'm going to say N2, and we're going to put this to letter B. And we did have to switch linear to rotational on there too. We are limiting the range and we're not wrapping around. So minus 180 to 180, let's apply this. Let's go fix the other one. These should be essentially identical minus the axis name and axis letters. So we switch this to rotational. We have to enable these, and we're not wrapping around, but we are limiting this to the range. So we're not going to let it go around and around and around. It's not going to find the shortest way to get to where it's going. It's going to have to take the long way back so we don't twist up that tube. Double check. They should look essentially the same. I did not enable these two, so let's get that done. There we go, double checking. They look very much the same. Yep. Okay, let's go back to issues and solutions, and let's find what's still a problem. It says create nozzles for this head. Choose the number and type of your nozzles. So this is interesting because it's showing me that graphic from before and saying reopen, but we already did it. So let's go to the next one. Connect the driver. The pump control actuator pump has no actuate Boolean command. Now that's interesting because we really aren't using a pump. So I don't know that there's a way to disable an actuator besides just removing it completely, but we've got some work to do in there. So in the actuator, I don't even see the pump actuator, to be honest. So oh, there it is, that's why. So it's under the head. The pump is going to be actually under the head. Now in the Lumen version 2s for sure, or version 3 rather, for sure, there are 2 pumps and 2 valves. So this is like there's 2 pumps, 2 valves, and 2 sensors. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the pump. So let's just delete that out of here. Still going to be upset in issues and solutions because we don't have a pump. So we're going to just we're going to remove that one too. I think there's a better way to do this, but I haven't dug into this yet. I haven't really gotten into that. So what I mean is, so this is like vac nozzle 1. Let's just apply that, and this is vac nozzle 2. This is the part pickup. The LumenPnP config, the machine XML, integrates all the commands for the vacuum, the pump, and the sensor into one. And I suspect there's a more interesting way to do that, where you have more control. I think the De-Opulo folks wanted this to be as simple as possible so you can get up and running fast, which is great. I wasn't able to get up and running at all with their config, but regardless. And they changed the machine dramatically since the time I bought it to like shortly after I bought it. So I think a lot of people probably weren't able to get up and running on it, but we'll save that axe for grinding some other day. They integrate the vac valve, pump, and sensor all in one actuator. And while I'm in here, I'm going to change this to LED. I'm not going to change anything with it that's dramatic, so it shouldn't mess with issues and solutions much at all. And I'm going to have to dismiss the pump, but let's go through and find this again, and it's still going to say the pump has no actuate command. Now this one I'm going to have to dismiss because, well, there is no pump. So let's just let it go at that. Let's find issues and solutions again. Now it's showing as dismissed. The vacuum valve actuator has no actuate Boolean command, and neither does vacuum 2. So if we look again at the notepad doc, there's some pretty cool stuff going on here. The valve 1 actuator runs through an I2C multiplexer, and then we send a command down to that. And the same is true for reading the sensor. So when we go to read the sensor, we send, like this A112 sends a command to the multiplexer to select the device that the I2C commands should go to. For VAC2 sensor, it's going to be, we send an S1, a B2 S1. For VAC1 sensor, we send B1 S1, and so forth. So this will become more obvious as we get going. But right now I'm going to grab this actuator read command G-code. I'm going to go back to OpenPnP. I'm going to go, now interestingly, you don't set that stuff here in the actuator. That's a controller item. By the way, I'm going to just remove this G-code driver. I don't want that in there. All right. So now I'm going to say G-code stuff, and I'm going to drop down to, oh, I know why that isn't. So here it isn't in the list yet. Head mountable. The vac pump isn't, the light is in there, but and not even the LED, just the light bottom is. But if we go back here, let's see if I get any issues showing up on this. I don't think it's going to tell me this one. So what do? It's not showing up there. If we go back to the actuator in the head, which is there and there, we have to go and we have to say, no, sorry, we'll go back again, back to the G-code driver. Somebody's shouting right now, you went to the wrong place. Include, there's a thing for include, I've lost that. Is that over in the actuator? I thought it was. Let's see. All right, let's pause this for a little bit. I'll be right back with the answer. Okay, I figured it out, and I think it might be a bug. Pretty minor bug, but a bug nonetheless. I believe that I had left those actuators assigned to the simulated driver, and then I deleted the simulated driver, and I think they got orphaned. So I went through and I created a null driver here, and I assigned the LED to that null driver, and then assigned it back to the G-code driver, the LumenPnP Mobo v4, and it showed up here in the list. So let's go do that with another one, and I think we did find a little bit of a bug. So currently that's here. If I go to null driver, hit apply, and then I go back to this and hit apply, and we go back to this, we should now see the VAC1, and if we do the same thing with VAC2, null, kind of careless on my part, so certainly a kind of a bug that I wouldn't really worry too much about. Did I do LED yet? I don't know, so I'm going to do it while I'm here. Apply, back to G-code, LumenPnP v4, and let's go check this again. This should be all the stuff we like, and it is. In fact, the LED doesn't belong up here. It's this one at the bottom. So I know I'm off the issues and solution things quite a bit right now, and I'm going to get back on it in a second. So I'm going to remove this LED because I know that, again, as delivered, the LumenPnP only has one LED. So I'm going to change this. It has two LEDs, but they're both configured through one channel. So I'm going to apply that. I think that could be changed if you wanted to, but I don't know there's a huge reason to do so. Let's just take a quick peek. Let's remove this null driver again. Probably if I didn't remove the null driver, that wouldn't have been a problem. So we should have an LED and 2 vacuums in there. Okay, so let's go back to issues and solutions. Let's refind here, and a bunch of stuff disappeared. The pump actuator, pump control actuator is not defined. We're going to dismiss that. The vacuum valve actuator has no actuate Boolean command. We can do this right here, but the thing is we're going to just put all of them together because I'm copy and pasting, and frankly I'm kind of lazy. So rather than use this system, I'm going to go into machine setup, and I'm going to expand the head and the actuators, and I'm going to take VAC1. I'm going to go over to my notepad file here, and I'm going to say this is which one am I doing here? I'm not going to VAC1, I'm going to G code. So I'll show you what I'm doing in just a sec. Actuate Boolean. All right, I'm going to copy the valve1 actuate Boolean command, which it looks like I didn't put in here. Why did I not? Actuate Boolean is here. The good news is I know what it is. So I'm going to copy that one, and we'll go back to OpenPnP. Now I'm in the G-code driver for LumenPnP, and I'm in the actuator VAC1 and the actuate Boolean command, and I'm going to paste this in, which you have to press Control V. And this says for true, we're going to send out a sequence of stuff. We're going to send out an M106P2 S255, and we're going to send out an M106P3 S255. That'll turn on the pump, and that'll turn on the valve. And in false, we're going to turn off M107, P2, and P3. So P2 is the pump, P3 is the valve. And if you're really excited about this sort of thing, you can actually go in, and we have M106P2 S255. We can go right here, M106P2 S255, and we got the pump running full speed. If we do 128, which we're not really going to do, the pump starts running weirdly. And if we do M107, we put that pump out of its misery and stop it. I'm sure you could hear that. I hope you could. So that is the VAC1. Actually, that was VAC2. I just know that was VAC2. So this is 0, and this is 1. And this is 0, and this is 1. So I can say apply here, and then I'll go right to VAC2, and I know that's the one that I should have pasted there. So port 2, port 3 is pump 2 and vacuum valve 2. So that's the move to command. Let's go back to issue. Let's apply it. Whoops. Go back to issue and solutions. Find. That disappeared. We have vacuum has no actuate Boolean command. Thought we did that. VAC N2. Let's check it one more time. Expand VAC N2. Nope. Here. VAC N2. Oh, I put it in move to. Shame on me. Boolean command, that's the problem. And we'll apply. And we'll come back over here and we'll refind, and that disappeared. The camera light actuator, LED, has no actuate Boolean command. Same process. This time, however, we're going to go to the LED. And if we look back at our notepad, that's my face, notepad file, the LEDs, we're going to turn them on a little differently. That's an M150. The P255, R255, and U255 and B255 say basically intensity and RGB, and then false is to turn it off. So let's paste that in. We want it not to be moved to, we want actuate Boolean. Control V, oops, Control V to get that in there. Okay, let's apply that. We'll go back to our issues and solutions and take a look, and that still shows open. Why? LED, Boolean, actuate Boolean command. We did apply that for the LED. Let's try finding that again. I'm not sure why camera light actuator LED has no actuate Boolean command. We don't have an LED actuator up there. This is in fact our actuator for that, and I've put it into LED actuate Boolean, and it's there, and it looks right. So I'm going to say, I'm wondering if I should create if I shouldn't have deleted that driver, that null driver so fast. Maybe something's still a little wrong with that. So let's just create that, and let's go back to the LED here. Let's choose the null driver. Let's apply it. Let's choose back to the LumenMobo and apply it. And then I think we can safely delete that because we've done that with all three drivers. Go back here, choose the LED, choose the actuate Boolean command. It's still there. And let's go back here, find. It didn't do anything with that, so not sure what's going on. I'm going to dismiss it. Oh boy. So OpenPnP camera top is missing a light actuator. Is that the one that I was thinking before? Let's get rid of our simulated top now. Heads, cameras, camera top, general, light actuator. This is the one I was looking for. I need to turn on include allow machine actuators. Now that'll show up. So I can choose LED, I can apply it, and let's go right to the, let's see what we got here. Camera bottom is missing a light actuator, so we have to go down to camera bottom here. And we got to say that is also the LED. Apply. So you can see if we separated the LEDs to two different LEDs, that's where you would pick the two. Let's look again. We lost some more, which is good. Command confirm regex is expected, and that is the correct one, so we can just accept it and it'll put it in. The connect command needs to be put in there, and I don't know, did I get that one in my notepad doc? That's my face. I want to show that as often as I can. Let's see here. Connect. Default connect command. See, it's quite a bit bigger than what it's suggesting. So we're going to grab all of this, and we're going to go right back to here, and we're going to not take the one that it suggests. So we're going to dismiss this one. Well, let's go do it first. So machine setup, the G-code driver, G-code, command, connect. There we go, connect command. Paste that in, apply, come back over to issues and solutions, find, that disappeared. We're gonna have to dismiss that one. Connect, because it's not the same as what it suggests. We put something in a little bit custom, so I think the only difference is set millimeters mode, and I'm not sure, there's no problem with doing that. So I think I did a compare at one point, but I'm just gonna dismiss at this point. Home command is also, now again, this is for the sensorless homing lumens. That's my face. Sensorless homing, we are going to look for the home command. That's important. That's one I worked hard on. Do I have it captured here? Move to default. Yoicks, I didn't capture it. The good news is I'm going to pause the video because I posted it in the chat, so in a forum. Well, there it is. I don't know why I didn't see it before. Maybe because I just pasted it in. There's my face, and here we go back to machine setup, and we want default home command, and we're going to Control-V, paste in that. And it's got some unique stuff going on here because of the way Opulo and LumenPnP have decided to establish the z-axis. So this is related to the sensorless homing. Then we do a normal home, But then some stuff that I added based on the suggestions from the OpenPnP mailing list is to establish a new Z0 after it homes. It's going to establish, I think, Z31.5. And then we're going to go to 0 after that. And the interesting thing is when we go to 0, this DRO in the bottom right side will not say 0 if we didn't actually set the home to 0. So yeah, what did I mean by that? What I'm saying is if we didn't set the z-axis home coordinate to 0, and I think Lumen's XML starts that out at 30, and we're not going to use that. So we're going to leave that at 0. We'll just hit reset there. Okay, back to issues and solutions. We should lose the connect and home ones. Home command is not as suggested, so we have to dismiss that manually. Move to complete command. I think that's correct. We can just accept that one. And we either have everything solved or dismissed, so let's go ahead to the next milestone. Now we get into some stuff that is more general and not so LumenPnP related. So I'm probably going to end the video right here. I think this is all just regular OpenPnP stuff. So I hope you find this valuable, and there's my face. If you do and you have questions, I'm happy to have you submit those through this video in the comments down below. But really the smart way to go is to submit them to the OpenPnP mailing list in Google Groups, which is by far the best way to communicate with the developers of OpenPnP. I noticed while I was checking that home command when I went to the groups, Mark over there has already posted a question based on something that I had just posted maybe 10 minutes before. So I'm sure it's hit or miss. It's Friday afternoon in the Netherlands, where I think he's based. I think he is. But he's maybe working on this, and that's a lot of dedication. So definitely swing some kudos their way. Send some donations in if you're finding OpenPnP to be useful, which I am. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found it useful, and thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to Nikki Does. I do a lot of these oddball videos. Let me know what you think of them. If you have a topic you want me to cover, by all means, suggest it. Don't be shy. Thanks for joining.